Hello and welcome to Sunrise Cardcast, your one-stop podcast shop for all things hockey cards. My name is Eric Andrews, also known in the hobby as Hammerhawks, and I'm joined by my co-host and fellow hobbyist Aaron Goldstein, better known as Crease Collector. So in typical fashion, we'll open up the episode with a couple of recent pickups on my end. One of these I think I alluded to last time, and then the other one is kind of a very spontaneous pickup, but a cool card nonetheless. So I'll start with that one. Since it's the lesser of the two, but it is from 2324 Allure, and it is a purple diamond numbered out of 10 of Kevin Korchinski. Now, you might say, well, that seems, yes, he's a Blackhawks prospect, so it makes sense in that regard, but you might think like that seems a little bit random, which it kind of is. And truly, the reason is I have a saved search on eBay for Korchinski. I don't really pick up hardly anything of his, honestly, but there's a few cards that if they were to pop up, I would probably grab them at the right price. So that's why I've kind of just always kept it as a search. And so I was going through and saw this card. And while this wasn't necessarily one that I was like actively looking for, this was listed for $10. So I was like, okay, it's a purple diamond out of 10 for $10. Like that seems pretty solid. So went ahead and just snagged it right away, and
I like it.
Card.
I can see it, like kind of the angle you showed there. Yeah, there it is. Like just the the design there. It really hits the right spot there. That's awesome. Yeah, purple diamond just looks awesome. Out of $10. You do that all day. That's perfect.
Yeah. That was my thought as well, and you guys have probably heard me say that purple's my favorite color previously.
So, do you like this sweater I'm wearing? It's all purple.
I do.
It's from my beer league team on Tuesday nights, so got some nice player swag there. I'm sure the boys will love that for Tuesday.
Nice. So yeah, I figured for $10, nice, really nice looking parallel numbered out of 10, can't go wrong. So yeah, that's the first one, just a really visually appealing card there. And then the second one, like I said, I'm pretty sure I alluded to this card last time when I was talking about the Splendor patch auto of Jacob Slavin that I got and showed off last time, saying that out of 22-23 the Cup, there were 2 cards of his in the product that were not printing plates. And both of them, for whatever reason, ever since release, had just been selling for way more than I thought was really realistic for them, especially this one, that being the Emblems of Endorsement patch auto out of 15.
That is quite the card you got there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. So clean.
Always a very nice insert set that's been in the Cup for since the first release back in 05-06, but he had one of these, I think in 1920, the Cup, if I remember the year correctly. And I didn't have any issue getting a copy of that card for, I think it was around $75 in value in a trade. And I saw, a couple others sell in that same price range, kind of back in that time frame. So knowing that he was going to have one in 22-23, the Cup, it was like, okay, 75 seems fair, maybe up to 100, whatever, stuff is worth a little bit more now than it used to be. I get that. But for whatever reason, these, since the release of 22-23, the Cup, had been selling consistently for over $150, upwards of $200 US. And to me, that just did not make any sense. Now, granted, some of those did have nicer patches than this one. I understand that there would be some degree of a premium for those. I get that, but not double the price either. So it just never really made sense to me. And I was like, I just can't justify paying that much for one of these cards because I just don't see the value. I like to think I have a pretty good handle on his values. So, those values just didn't make sense to me. So it's like, I'm just going to wait it out and hope that I can eventually pick one up at the right price. And a few weeks ago, this one popped up on Facebook and was able to get it for a shade under 100 US. So patience paid off, and definitely very glad to finally have crossed this one off the list.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, just I mean, the card pretty much speaks for itself, but the fact that you're able to, execute that patience. I mean, you have more patience than I do, when it comes to the hobby. But the fact that you're able to kind of wait for your time that made sense, I think that's a really important aspect of the hobby that I think gets overlooked. Quite honestly. But I think for usually, those experienced collectors who kind of know that, hey, if I want that card, not saying I won't have it ever, but sometimes patience is the name of the game, and the fact that you're able to do that is awesome. It definitely paid off here. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely felt like a win being able to find one at the price that I thought was reasonable. There had been a couple that had been on eBay that I was kind of like, okay, like I'm tired of not having one of these. I'll overpay to get one, and still got outbid on them. So
Hmm.
just kind of crazy in that regard. But like I said, it all worked out in the end, and was able to pick one up for the price that I thought was realistic for the card, and that's what ended up happening. So,
Hmm.
and they're still not bad patches. 2 and 3 color pieces. They're nothing to necessarily write home about compared to some of the other copies in the print run, but it's also not the most bland either. So, definitely happy with it given the price for sure. So, yeah, that'll wrap up the mail part of the episode. Just keep it brief. There's been a couple other lesser things that have popped up lately, but nothing that's really worth showing or talking about. So we'll just keep it at those and turn our attention to what will really be kind of the main topic for the episode today, that being 2024 Upper Deck PWHL. And this is a product that maybe some of you are very familiar with and very excited about. Some of you, on the flip side, might not really know almost anything about it and might not care about it almost at all. And regardless of what side you're on there, makes sense for sure. But we definitely feel that this is a very important release in the hobby, so we wanted to talk about it. And kind of just unpack what the product stands for and what it means for the hobby in general, and then also open up a box of the product, compliments of Upper Deck. So, the kind of the thing that comes to my mind with this product, and we kind of talk about this general concept with products like Tim Hortons and the importance that it has for the hobby. So when I just pose the question to you, Aaron, and say, in your mind, why is 2024 PWHL important? What would you have to say about that?
I just think it's, finally, we were talking this a little bit before the show, but I think, with all the, you know, turmoil, I guess you could say, with women's hockey that we've seen, just trying to get a good, solid league kind of established and kind of, off the ground here, you know, has always been super important. And to see them kind of off the ice, kind of, figure that out and obviously produce, an on ice product that people really enjoy. I think that's really important, as far as like, the growth of the game and just hockey in general. And so to see that kind of, you know, take full form is really cool to see. And then so now that that's established, you have a league, and it's backed, and can hopefully withstand the ups and downs, and be a long-term league. I think now that that is hopefully established, you can get to the the hobby side of it, which is okay. People can now invest in this league. They can invest in the teams, the players they enjoy, and they know that they'll have a franchise or two that they can really look towards for their foreseeable future. Similar to NHL fans. Um, you know, like me, like a Maple Leafs fan or a Blackhawks fan, we can turn our attention to those teams and really, for better for worse, be a fan for the long haul and collect their cards, and be fans of them along the way. Now, with women's hockey, they hopefully have that. And with this product, with finally Upper Deck getting on board, and having their very first PWHL product, it's really, really cool to see. So this is hopefully just the start of what will be many, many PWHL focused products in the future. And hopefully, again, this is sort of just, a big movement in the hobby, now that the league has, taken shape and is hopefully going to be grounded, for the next, decades to come. So I think that's really important, off ice, and then, to make sure the on ice product as well is, running smooth. And then as far as the hobby, it's just a natural progression. So I'm glad we're here. And yeah, there's a lot kind of wrapped up in this product. So that's kind of what it means to me. When I see this product, kind of finally come out, it's more than just a hobby step forward. It's just a game step forward. So long-winded, but I love it.
Yeah, there's some good thoughts there. One thing that kind of stands out to me as well is kind of just like what the product stands for from a collector's standpoint. We've seen women's hockey cards in the Team Canada releases each year, but outside of that, that's really been about it. For women's hockey cards, at least over the last maybe 10-ish years or so. I know, Dr. Price put some women in some of his in the game products. Like I know they were in O Canada and stuff like that. But that's getting close to 10 years ago or 15 years ago, actually, at this point. So just the fact that there can be a standalone women's product, I think is really exciting for a lot of people, especially female collectors. And, if there are, little girls who are, fans of the sport and, maybe have collected a little bit with a parent or something over the years, now there is a standalone female product that they can really, just enjoy and collect. And I think that's great. So, that's really what stands out to me about the product is, it's even one thing. I think there was a boxed set that came out maybe within the last year or so, but to have a fully fleshed out product devoted to the PWHL, I think is just a great thing for the hobby and for a lot of collectors. And, kind of with that, it's clearly been very, very well received. If you guys have not paid too much attention to this stuff, the boxes sell for a lot of money, and a lot of the nicer pulls of, bigger names sell for significant money. And even just like some of the basic young guns of some of the top players sell for very good money. You've got like Marie-Philippe Poulin, you've got Taylor Heisey, who's the cover athlete for the product. Hillary Knight is in there. Kendall Coyne Schofield is in there. So it's really cool too. Just kind of, I think a lot of people maybe know some of those names, have heard some of these names from the Olympics and things like that over the years. So to see them have their own, cards and their own young guns and stuff like that is really cool as well. So, and like I said, the hobby has been taking note of that for sure. Like I said, even the young guns of, Poulin and Heisey are up around like $100+ US. So that's really amazing if you think about it. So yeah, just kind of wanted to unpack kind of the context of the product and why it's a significant and notable product. And, kind of just do that first before digging into the box itself. A lot of times we kind of will do that simultaneously, but I think it's really important to give this product its own spotlight and really just kind of touch on why it's important. And, I know there are a lot of people that have really enjoyed this product, so it'll be cool to see what we get out of the box. So it's 12 packs per box, 6 cards per pack. It does kind of feel like a traditional Upper Deck flagship product. However, it does use kind of the older hit configuration where there's just one hit per pack, as opposed to the new iteration of NHL flagship that has 3 per pack. This is just 1. But from what I've seen, I think you get like at least 1 or 2 numbered cards per box.
Seems
and then,
like it, yeah.
Insert wise, I know there are dazzlers, I know there are portraits, and then you've got your parallels like the outbursts and exclusives and high gloss and all that. So, it'll definitely feel, pretty familiar to a lot of people who only collect NHL stuff. So we'll dig on in here and see what we can get. Looks like first pack we do have a portraits insert. Let's see here. So we'll start off. I won't run through every single name in the base, but just to give you an idea, they do mimic the 23-24 flagship design, as do the Young Guns. just to give you guys kind of a look at those. And there's the back of the card as well. So if there are any big, notable names that a lot of people would know, I will make note of those, but otherwise I'll just stick to the hits. So this is probably one of the hits of the box. And Aaron, I know you were saying that you would like a nice goalie card for your collection.
I think it'd be great.
So right on
cue.
First pack, we have an Upper Deck Portraits. I believe this is a gold parallel, numbered out of 299 of Nicole Hensley.
Oh, nice. That's a cool card.
For the Minnesota team.
That's awesome.
And of course, you guys might notice that they do have, this is from the, highlighting the original inaugural season of the PWHL. So they do just have their generic jerseys that they wore in that first season, whereas now they do have fully fleshed out team branding. So that's at least something to kind of, keep in mind with this product, is it is based on that inaugural season. So
I think, in the future, I think it's going to be kind of cool. Like, the jerseys are what they are, but, to look back at that first year, I'm like, oh yeah, like they didn't have jerseys yet. Like, that's how new it was. So I think in hindsight, it'll be kind of cool.
Yes.
Hopefully
it'll definitely have kind of that iconic look, just because it is a unique type of thing. So
yeah.
Onto the second pack, and I'll even flip through some of the base just so you guys can see kind of the jerseys. There's one of the Toronto ones, and we've got, I think this is New York, with kind of that tealish aqua color, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ottawa with their red jerseys there. Let's see here. Boston, Jamie Lee Rattray is obviously a fairly well-known name there. And our first Young Guns of the box, definitely a name that a lot of people would recognize. For PWHL Boston, Megan Keller.
Oh, nice. That's really cool. I love how it has the logo in the bottom left there. That's really, really cool.
Yep. So yeah, I would definitely consider her to be one of the better ones. Not necessarily the best, but definitely a player who's had a very successful career. And I would say for hockey fans, a lot of people would probably recognize her name. So cool to get a card of her. On to pack number 3, which is giving me a difficult time opening up here. One thing to note, I don't believe there are any autographs, and I know there are not any memorabilia cards in the product.
Not yet.
So
but
it is just a pretty standard product. Like I said, it is really just the base and then the 2 insert sets and then the parallels. So, maybe down the road we'll see a little bit more fully fleshed out, or like a higher end type of product. But I think for right now, this definitely does the job for sure. Let's see what we've got in pack number 3. Looks like we have got a UD Portraits. I think this is just the basic version of Jamie Bourbonnais for PWHL New York. Nice looking card there. Moving on to pack number 4. And again, this pack is being a little bit difficult. My apologies. Still waiting for one of the Dazzlers, of course. It'll be cool to see those. I think you get at least one of those per box, I believe, from what I recall. Let's see here. All right, on to pack number 4. Let's see. We have got a deluxe parallel for PWHL Montreal, number out of 250 of Kennedy Marchment.
Nice. Yeah, I love those jerseys. Some people don't like it, but like the creamy color instead of the white, especially for Montreal, I like it.
Yeah,
always good to get a numbered card too.
Gives that retro kind of feel for sure. So
I like it.
Yep, when done well, the cream color on jerseys is a really nice touch. I know we talked about that last time with the Blackhawks Winter Classic jerseys, so this is another good example of that. Moving on to pack number 5. Let's see here. We have got Ooh, that's a nice card. We've got a Young Gun Outburst Silver
Hey,
for PWHL Ottawa of Emily Clark.
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's a
very
great
nice,
card.
very nice looking card, and a name that I've heard of for sure. So it's a really cool card there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely a fan of the Outburst parallels. I know at first with 23-24, you were a little hesitant and you weren't sure if you would like them or not.
Yeah, it
And
was
then
just.
we got that Dustin Wolf for you, and you changed your
Oh
mind
yeah,
really quickly.
I did. Like once you see it, it's like, oh man,
Yeah,
like it's different.
they pop really nicely as you guys saw there. Hey Matt, hope you're doing well. Yeah, we hope that we get something really sweet too. Obviously the Clark Outburst Young Gun there is a really nice card. So we'll see if there's anything else that'll turn up. But thanks for tuning in. We appreciate that.
Definitely.
Let's see here. On to pack number 6, which will be the halfway point. We've got another Young Gun, and it is another pretty decent name, in my opinion, for PWHL New York, Alex Carpenter.
Nice. Those jerseys again. Unique.
Yes, absolutely. And Carpenter is a player that I think a lot of people would recognize her name from the international hockey scene. So definitely a good one there. Halfway through, like I said, we're still probably looking for Dazzlers, probably still looking for at least one more numbered card, I would think, and probably some more Young Guns and stuff like that. So we'll see what else we can get here. We've got a UD Portraits of Jamie Lee Rattray for PWHL Boston. On to pack number 8. And let's see here. We have got another Young Guns for PWHL Boston of Elena Mueller. She's
Very
obviously an international player who came over from Switzerland, but from what I've heard, I know she's a pretty good player. So
That's nice awesome.
So we got one more layer of packs here. So on to pack number 9. And we have got, there's a nice one for you, Aaron of Emirates Mashmare.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've seen that card. That's a good one. I wanted that one. That's wicked.
As well as a Young Gun for PWHL Toronto of Emma Maltese.
Nice.
That's cool. 3 more packs.
All right.
See what else we can get
Pretty
here.
decent box so far.
Yeah. No, this is one that I'll probably hang on to. A name that I mentioned earlier. Ooh, that's a pretty nice one. Maybe not. We've got a Young Gun Deluxe.
Ooh.
Numbered out of 250 for PWHL Boston of Hillary Knight.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah,
look at that.
That's a really nice.
That's definitely the hit of the box for sure. That is great. Yeah, what a cool card.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is awesome.
Numbered Young Gun parallel of one of the best names in the product.
Not bad.
Can't go wrong there. That's
not bad.
That's a very nice pull for sure. So
that's a great way to kind of wind down the box here.
Yeah. Still have a couple packs left. Hoping we do get a Dazzler, like I said. That'd be nice. But we shall see. All right. Let's see here. Renata Fast, another name that a lot of people would know from the international scene. Maddie Rooney, of course,
nice.
Team USA goalie.
Yeah, she's great goalie.
And we have got a UD exclusives for PWHL Boston of Lauren Gable.
Nice.
Out of 100, of course, being
that's cool.
UD exclusives there. So
that's awesome. I like the red there at the bottom.
Yeah, nice touch there. So another numbered hit there. On to our 12th and final pack. I would say this has been a really solid box. Unfortunately, no Dazzlers. I was hoping we would get one, but I mean, not meant to be. But we'll take the Hillary Knight
next
instead.
time.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So our final pack, we have got Micah Zandy Hart base card. I know that's another fairly well-known name from the Team Canada side of things. And our last hit to go along with your gold parallel is a base UD portrait of Nicole Hensley.
Okay. All right. Not bad.
So got some nice goalie cards there for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Glad that we could do that. But yeah, like as is very obvious, this is clearly the big hit of the box there. Hillary
Oh,
Knight Young
yeah.
Gun Deluxe out of 250. That's a very nice pull.
Yeah, that'll sell for like, I'm
For
just
sure.
quickly looking here. It's about $100 card right there.
Yeah, not bad.
That's fantastic.
So very cool. Not that we focus on value too much.
No,
but
I was just curious. Like,
that's a solid pull for sure.
Exactly, and we don't focus on value too much, but I think the fact that it's a new product, people listeners might not know how successful it's been on the secondary market. Collectors are clamoring for these things. I mean, they have been for a while, and it's great that now they can finally scratch that itch from a collector standpoint and collect the players that they enjoy watching for many years. And points like these, the Knight being a good example at a 250, which isn't traditionally a low number of prints card at all. It's just the demand is there. A card at a 250 selling for that, it speaks volumes, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, great box. A lot of cool goalie cards. I'll probably bug you for those at some point. And
they are yours.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So yeah, great box. And I think we have Clear Cut coming up next.
We'll do 24-25 O-Pee-Chee next.
O-Pee-Chee.
We'll hope that we can kind of save some mojo for that clear cut box at the end.
Okay.
But
I mean, I think it was a good start, and I think O-Pee-Chee will kind of cleanse the palate a little bit. It's always a fun break, and then I guess we'll end things off with Clear Cut, and hopefully our luck hasn't run out. So
yes, agreed. I'm just kind of putting the packs away to keep things a little bit. Try to keep things under control on my desk, which is very much easier said than done. But
it's hard to do.
As I do that, is there any last takeaways from the PWHL product that you want to share before we switch over to O-Pee-Chee?
No, I'm good. I said kind of all I need to say, and I'm really excited for O-Pee-Chee. I think it's gonna be it's always probably one of my funnest breaks, just watching them and seeing what people pull, and the different kinds of parallels and the Easter eggs they have in that product every year is really, really fun. So it's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. I agree as well. I would definitely consider O-Pee-Chee to be one of Upper Deck's strongest releases every year. It's just such a well-rounded product that not only appeals to set collectors, team collectors, people who have been in the hobby for a long time and collected O-Pee-Chee for decades. But then you also do have some of those nicer parallels to chase after and stuff like that. And
exactly.
The nice thing is over the last couple of years, they have transitioned it from being, the first or second product to come out each year to being a middle of the season product. And that allows them to get those debuting rookies into the product. So for 24-25 O-Pee-Chee, there are Macklin Celebrini, Matvey Michkov, etc. cards in the product. Whereas how it had been done for quite a while before then was just the carryover players. So yeah, really nice to have it be a little bit more fleshed out of a product, and I know a lot of people enjoy and appreciate that. So we'll see how we do here. I believe you get 3 numbered cards per box. It is 18 packs per box, 10 cards per pack. I believe there's usually like 3 cards per pack to kind of keep an eye on. So we'll see how we do here. So first pack, we have got an O-Pee-Chee Premier insert for the Toronto Maple Leafs of John Tavares.
That's a nice looking card.
Yep, nice rainbow foil board.
Love it.
And our first retro is for the Nashville Predators of Philip Forsberg.
Awesome.
And of course, you have to keep an eye out for the retro blank backs.
I was just going to say, you got to keep an eye out for those blank backs.
Probably the easiest way to do that when you're breaking a box is if you only get 1 retro in a pack, it's just a normal one. If you get 2, then one of them is
Okay.
going to be a blank back.
That's some good insight there. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I
So
thought
of
you were
course,
going to say, oh, there we go. Yeah, that's the
so
regular back.
Forsberg is just a regular, only one retro in this pack, so it's just a normal one.
I say we get one.
We'll
It's
see.
my
We have
prediction.
pulled one before, so
And there's different blank backs now. You know, before it was just the retro blank back. Now
Yep.
it's a couple different variations. There's the red blank as well, the 1 of 1, right? So, and then of course, you know, the regular retro ones. Trying to think if there's any more. I don't think
I think
so.
it's just the two.
I think it's just
Yep.
the two. Yeah. So a little bit more common, I guess you could say. So
And our first base marquee rookie is Connor Geekie for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So that's kind of a fairly standard pack, I would say. Nothing super crazy. There are also some base variants that you have to keep an eye out for. The nice thing that they did with those this year is they made them have a glossy finish on them, so they do stand out a little bit more. So that's like I said, kind of just something to keep in mind if you're opening a box. If you say, why did I only get like 1 or 2 cards of consequence in this pack, you might have gotten a base variant, and you
like
might
the black and white or something.
or things like that.
What have you.
So on to pack number 2, we have got another O-Pee-Chee premiere for Utah of Josh Doan.
Nice.
And we have got a retro of Tomas Hertl and an all-star of Kirill Kaprizov. So
nice.
Those kind of the quote-unquote like high series short prints that are 501 through 600 do count as one of the hits of a pack, just to make that clear. On to pack number 3. Let's see here. We have got our first blue parallel, a marquee rookie of Gage Consalvis for Lightning. We've got a retro of Alex Nedeljkovic. And it's a good one to get, a base marquee rookie for the Philadelphia Flyers, Matvei Michkov.
All right.
So one of the top guys there. Can never go wrong getting a big name rookie, even if it is just a base rookie card. It's still always good to get players like that. So, of course, there are also the manufactured patch cards that you have to keep an eye out on. Those are, I want to say, like 2 per case, I think, somewhere in that ballpark. So keep an eye out for those. Also have the O-Pee-Chee Platinum Parallels, which the O-Pee-Chee Platinum Previews, I should say, which right on cue, we have a very nice one here, a very timely card. Josh Packham, if you are interested, let us know. We have a O-Pee-Chee Platinum Preview Seismic Gold, numbered out of 25.
All right.
Of Alex Ovechkin.
Whew, that is a card. Wow. What a great card right there. That is awesome. Well, pretty sure it's going to be the hit of the box, but you'll never know.
You never know, but yeah, that's a very nice pull. Obviously, the Seismic Golds are one of the most desirable cards from Platinum, and obviously getting Ovechkin, hard to top that. So we also have a retro of Brant Clark and a marquee rookie of Seamus Casey. So there's a pretty nice pull there, especially coming out of just the standard O-Pee-Chee release. Getting a card like that, that's a very solid pull.
That's insane.
We're doing nice on the parallel pulls today.
I just looked up one. Again, not that we're about value, but one recently sold for about 200 Canadian.
Wow, very nice.
So, and there's some other graded ones which sell for a lot, and are higher numbered, obviously.
Shout out to Al. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Appreciate it. Definitely agree with you on that for sure. Another fun insert set that's been in O-Pee-Chee for a number of years now is the playing cards. So we've got our first playing card, a 2 of diamonds of Maverick Bork. I've never gotten around to putting together a full set of them, but I think that would be really fun to do one day. Also a retro of Nick Bjugstad, as well as a marquee rookie for the Islanders of Ruslan Iskakov. And base. Let's see here. We're on to pack number 6. So should still have, I think, probably 2 more numbered cards.
Maybe more Ovechkins.
Yeah, you never know. We'll see. We've got our red parallel of the box for the Winnipeg Jets of Mark Scheifele, and that is just a standard red parallel there. Also have a retro of Zach Ostapchuk for the Senators, and a marquee rookie of Jet Luchenko. All right. Of course, I would be happy to get the Jacob Slavin base card. Cross that one off. That'd be nice.
How much base cards do you not have in your collection? Because I know you like to, pick them up.
You would kind of be surprised because a lot of the time it's just not even worth the cost of shipping.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of base cards that I just haven't gotten around to picking up because
I'm gonna guess like 20.
Probably, yeah.
That to me is like that would drive me insane. For me, I would just come see it, and then just whatever.
Yeah. So we've got a blue parallel of Alex DeBrincat. We've got a retro of Nikita Kucherov. And an all-star of Thatcher Demko.
Nice.
So, yeah, I can't remember. I actually might have gotten, I think I have gotten the Slavin base card from this product already. Whenever a product like O-Pee-Chee or Flagship comes out, Josh works with Frank LeClaire, a good buddy of ours from Hobby Insider, and he always breaks a ton of really all products, but especially O-Pee-Chee and Flagship. So Josh will usually ask Frank, hey, what Slavin cards did you get from your break? And then we'll figure out the price and have those thrown in to,
that's super cool,
to Josh's stuff. So I'm pretty sure that there was a Slavin base card and a few others, including the retro blank back, might I add.
Oh, okay, that's even better.
That we were able to get. So
I mean, Frank's a good guy. I mean, I visited his booth at the expo many times. He has all the O-Pee-Chee all years. I've kind of cleaned him out of all the Enroth parallels. I think at the last show I just went by and picked a few, but he's always the guy with all the O-Pee-Chee stuff and various other things. So cool to see that connection.
Definitely was a very good feeling to cross the blank back off pretty much on release day. And
do you have all the blank backs?
I don't. No, there.
How many are you missing?
For Slavin, probably
because he's been in many O-Pee-Chee releases now.
Yeah, I'm probably missing a couple for him, something like that. And I know there's at least one Jalmerson that I don't have.
Oh yeah.
So they're not as easy as you might think.
No. Do you have any of the 101s, the red border blanks?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
One day.
So next pack we have a rainbow parallel numbered out of 350 of Emil Lilleberg for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So another nice rainbow foil board parallel card there. Really nice looking card in person. I've got a retro of Alex Barkov.
Nice.
And an all-star of Nick Suzuki. And a base card of UC Saros for you.
Ooh, my guy.
I'll set that one aside for you. Moving along here, looks like this is going to be pack number 9, so the halfway point. Of course, there are now, like you said, the red blank back 1-of-1s, but there are also the gold rainbow foil board 1-of-1s in the product as well that are for those, high series short print cards. So I'm not sure if the Celebrini has surfaced or not, but obviously that's a pretty big time card there. One of his first 1-of-1s. Next pack, we have an O-Pee-Chee Premier of Connor McDavid.
Not bad. That's a great looking card.
Can't go wrong. Got a retro of Vinny Desharnais and an all-star of Alex DeBrincat. So halfway through, probably still one more numbered card, I think. We'll see if there's anything else that pops out, but obviously after that Ovechkin, everything at this point is just gravy, I would say.
Basically,
so, we've got a playing card, a 6 of Hearts of Steven Stamkos.
Nice.
Got a retro of Tanner Jeannot and a marquee rookie of Liam Ogren. On the pack number 11, let's see here. We have got a blue parallel of Matt Boldy, retro of Anthony Sorelli, and a marquee rookie of Aku Ratu, who was, interestingly, for those who might not have heard, the Blackhawks and Utah made a trade including the contract of Shea Weber.
Okay.
So Shea Weber is theoretically a Blackhawk at this point. But another piece of that deal was Aku Ratu going to the Blackhawks as well. So it's kind of interesting there, but kind of a bit of an insurance piece for the Blackhawks to make sure they can get to the cap floor for next season in the event that they can't add, a big time free agent or trade for a big player this summer. So, and then if they do and don't need to use his contract, then they can just put him on LTIR and no harm, no foul, essentially. So,
yeah,
obviously that was kind of an interesting one to see come down on trade deadline day and just say, wait, what? Like Shea Weber, what? So, yeah, that was kind of interesting there. Next pack up, we have got a blue parallel of Brandon Hagel, got a retro of Ivan Barbashev, and to go with the Matvei Michkov, we have got a marquee rookie of Macklin Celebrini.
All right. There we go. There's been some great breaks today.
Yeah, very solid box for sure. Can't go wrong getting a nice Ovechkin and the two big rookies. So, yeah, this has been a very solid box for sure. See what else we can find. Still should be, I think, one numbered card, like I said. And we've got a blue parallel of Isaac Rosane for the Sabres. We've got a retro for Logan O'Connor and an all-star of Clayton Keller. Starting to get down to it here. We've got 5 more packs to go. Always fun opening O-Pee-Chee. It's just a really fun product.
You never know what you're going to get, and especially, even experienced collectors, if you open it, you might find a day or two later, you find something that you didn't even know you had, card was sticking to one another, or it looked like a random card just kind of blew past it. And you realize, oh, that's kind of rarer than I thought. So it's really has something for everybody. It's really cool.
Got a playing card, 2 of Hearts.
Love that. I've always wanted to collect the whole entire 52 card playing deck. But then I realized, some do go for a decent amount of money because I think a lot of people try to do the same thing, collect the playing card deck every year. But so that kind of put an end to that. But I've always kind of wanted to.
One of these years.
Yeah, maybe.
We've got a retro of Colton Parayko and an all-star of Sergei Bobrovsky.
Nice.
But yes, I agree. I think it would be cool to do that one of these years.
It would be cool.
Even going back and doing an older one or something to keep the price down. But
that's true.
The aces are short printed, and then they've also been doing jokers of mascots and stuff. So those sell pretty well and are fairly tough pulls. So
I wonder if some playing card collectors kind of get involved with that. Would that be something that they kind of gravitate towards too? I'm not sure, but I can only imagine.
Got another playing card, 2 of Clubs of Cutter Gauthier. So we've gotten almost all the 2s. That's 3 of the 2s.
That's awesome.
In the deck. Got a retro of Jack McBain and a marquee rookie of Maxim Siplikov for the Islanders, who's been playing pretty well for them this season. On to our final layer of packs, which means 3 packs to go. See if we can muster anything else.
Let's get another 2.
We finally have should be our last numbered card of the box. It is a retro black border, numbered out of 100 for the Minnesota Wild of Liam Ogren.
Nice.
So that's a rookie parallel there. We've got a retro of Teuvo Teravainen, who I'm enjoying having back on the Blackhawks this year. And then our third kind of hit of the pack is the High Series short print checklist card.
Okay. Interesting. Not a parallel checklist card, is it? Those are fun.
Just a base.
Or
I always kind of get
a printing plate of a checklist. Someone did that a little while ago I saw, and those are always interesting.
I always get a kick out of the retro blank backs of the checklist.
Yeah, because like
then you're
half of it's missing.
half of the checklist.
That to me just kills me.
Yeah, kind of funny, but
Kind of funny. I can only imagine being a set collector, like a master set collector of O-Pee-Chee kind of as the years go on, you know? That would be frustrating to say the least.
Got 2 packs left. Not necessarily expecting anything else at this point, so probably just some standard stuff from here on out. We've got a blue of Connor Garland, got a retro of Alex Lyon, and a marquee rookie of Colin Graff. So one more pack to go here. We'll see if there's anything to surprise us, but like I said, not necessarily expecting that. I think we've done quite well for ourselves in this box, for sure. So let's see here. We've got a bonus numbered card here. Another retro black border numbered out of 100 for the Tampa Bay Lightning of Brandon Hagel.
Very cool.
Nice little bonus there. And a retro of Isaac Rosane. And our last pull of consequence is an all-star of Sebastian Aho.
Not bad.
So very solid box there for sure. Getting Michkov and Celebrini rookies, and of course that Ovechkin O-Pee-Chee Platinum
awesome.
Preview Seismic Gold out of 25. Beautiful card. So
that's so nice. I've never owned any of the Seismic Golds, but always wanted to. They're really sharp cards.
Yes.
Maybe I'll have to pick up a Flurry or something one of these years.
True. Especially an older Penguins one or a Golden Knights, that would be a nice color match there for sure.
That would be great.
So that's O-Pee-Chee. I mean, like we said, it's such a solid product, a great product to open. Gives you a really fun opening experience. Lots of interesting, cool cards. Can't speak highly enough of O-Pee-Chee. I think it's one of, if not the best product that Upper Deck puts out every year at this point. It's a great value for the price. Again, not that we focus on value all that much, but it is obviously important when you're opening product to feel like you're getting good value. And O-Pee-Chee is, like I said, probably one of, if not the best bang for your buck product consistently
100%.
that Upper Deck puts out every year. So always fun to open that up and see what'll come out of a box. So then turning to the last part of the episode, 23-24 Upper Deck Clear Cut. Now, obviously, both of those boxes that we just opened are much more drawn out opening experiences, whereas with Clear Cut, it's just one card in here. So how you did as soon as you open it up, this is a good box. This wasn't a good box. So
we'll see. Hopefully our luck continues. I mean, we went 2 for 2, so hopefully we can go 3 for 3. We'll see.
So like I said, it's just one card per pack. All the cards are autographed. So, that's kind of what Clear Cut is. It's a very high risk, high reward type of product. Boxes, I think, are around like $95 US for this year right now. You could open it and get a $5 card. You could open it and get a $5,000 card. So
you really don't know.
It's not really no, it's not. And it is kind of one of those products. I've heard other people say this, but I think it really is true that you have to almost treat it like a really high-end product in the sense of it's probably wiser to go out and buy 3, 4, 5 boxes of it at a time as opposed to just a single box.
Yeah.
Because you could open one box for around $100 and easily just get a $5 or $10 card.
Exactly.
Whereas if you're opening up 4 or 5 boxes, you probably will get something fairly decent. I think they're 15 box inner cases, if I remember. And out of those 15 boxes, there will usually be 1 or 2 really solid pulls and then a handful of like decent pulls. And then kind of the other half will just kind of be like, that wasn't so great.
Yeah.
So that's why, kind of if you treat it as a high-end product, you'll probably feel a little bit better about it, knowing that you probably will get something decent that way, as opposed to if you just splash the cash on one box and then you might not get, much of consequence.
Yeah.
So, Al put it well there. Clear Cut always gets the heart rate up. Absolutely.
True. One way or the other, it's going to do it anyway. So we're feeling it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it treats us. Now, again, we're fortunate that Upper Deck provided these boxes to us, so it's not our money that's at stake. But Still, like you said, Al, the heart rate definitely goes up knowing that this could have a really big card in it, or it could have something that is something that's not necessarily overly great. So we'll see how we do. So it's like I said, you open the lid and you know exactly how you're doing. So I will not even look at it myself. I'll just flip open the lid and we'll see how we do. So Here we go. 23-24 clear cut. I would personally love to have it be one of the 0304 Classic Portraits tribute cards.
That'd be nice.
Really nice design. First box that I ever opened, first that I ever completed was 0304 Classic Portraits. So it's cool that they're included in this product, and I know Bedard is in that. So that'll be a really cool card for me.
Maybe you'll get a Bedard.
We're not holding.
I'm calling a goalie hit.
So
that's what I'm going to do.
That would be on brand for us. So
yeah, it would be. You always hit the goalies.
Yes. Without further delay, we'll get to it. We've been building this up, but you kind of have to with clear cut since it is just the one card. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. There we go. It is one of the classic portraits.
I like that.
Matt Patra.
Hey.
So
not too bad. Not too bad.
I would say that falls into the decent category.
Yeah, not too bad.
So I'll take that. That's a really nice looking card.
That is a nice looking card.
Very is cool. One of those 0304 cards, like I said. So
why not keep it? I mean, hey.
I appreciate that. I honestly, when they first announced the product, whatever, like a year ago or something, and they included these cards kind of on the preview, I was like, that would possibly be a fun set for me to do, kind of go back to my roots of the hobby with this product. Unfortunately, as you guys kind of see, some of the elements of the card are black, and on the original cards that was all just like silver foil in there. So it is a little bit different, but the actual design itself is still the same as those 0304 cards. So but obviously he's a solid name rookie there that has some good hobby upside and stuff. So yeah, definitely I would say that's not a huge pull by any means, but definitely better than getting a no-name base rookie auto that's worth a few bucks. So
yeah, exactly.
Definitely will take that one, and I would say I'd be happy with that result. So yeah, I mean, I would say that was a pretty solid day of breaks there for us. I think
so too. I mean, amazing job with the PWHL. You got the Knight, obviously the OV, and a decent result with clear cut. So not too bad.
Yes, absolutely. So
yeah, that's cool.
We're a little bit under the hour mark, so we'll try to kind of leave it at that. And I think last time we went a little bit longer than normal, so we'll cut off a little bit earlier than normal this time to make up for that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I know that was a lot of fun for me to open all that stuff, and hopefully you were living vicariously through me, Aaron.
A little bit. Always am.
True. So yeah, some really fun products there to go through, and always fun to pull some really, really cool cards. So again, shout out to Upper Deck for providing us with these boxes. Really appreciate it, and being able to showcase these products to our listeners, because I know y'all appreciate that as well. And speaking of which, I think kind of the plan for the next episode, as part of the package that we got from Upper Deck, also included 24-25 Series 2 and 23-24 EX 2000. So both of which are products that Billy Celio built. So we're kind of planning that the next episode we'll have Billy on with us to break down those two products and then open up a box of each product. So that should be another really fun episode. I know I always really enjoy hearing from Billy and hearing the inspiration and the backstories that are behind products. And obviously it's always fun with Flagship to do that, but then a really interesting product with EX 2000 that has definitely kind of gotten some mixed feedback from people so far, but I really like it. I think it's a really cool and beautiful looking product. So I'm really excited to hear what he has to say about that and see what we can pull. But so that's kind of a little bit of a teaser there for you guys for next time. But for this episode, I think that'll do it. We'll keep it at that, and let you guys enjoy the rest of your days, and check out some March Madness basketball if you haven't been doing that already. Always a fun time of the year for sure. So we'll wrap it up. And as always, please be sure to follow us on social media if you are not already. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sunrise Cardcast, and on Twitter at Sunrise CC. Please also be sure to subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to make sure you never miss a future episode. Until next time on Sunrise Cardcast, keep collecting those hockey cards.